If you're up to date with the Garn 47 YouTube channel, surely you've seen the dozens of upcoming tracks for the game, but there are a few that stand out. These are the Walted boss themes. But until the Formspire update comes out, these songs, along with a few Discord messages from Floombo and in-game hints, are about as much as we know about these fights and the lore that comes along with them. In summary, it's a boss rush of harder versions of all the bosses, but lore, as stated by Floombo. Unfortunately, there aren't actually a whole lot of in-game hints to walting, but one instance is the mirrored car dialogue. If you draw a white diamond using the draw pad in the entrance to Car Mountain, an alternate version of the Walted car screen art appears. Strangely though, it plays a slightly modified version of Car's journal instead of Walted car. Although, some trees behind Cone Shed are actually playing a small part of Walted car. Additionally, if you mirror the superstructure blocked off entrance, where you can meet Car, a possible art piece for Walted car will pop up. To note though, Car's model in the mirror world is purely a silhouette of her normal model, and the diamond behind her is intact, unlike the one for Car. The two rooms that I mentioned are not the only two rooms that can be mirrored. There are actually quite a few, and there's an entire badge and ending built around this mechanic. But one detail about the mirrored rooms is that you can always hear LD's laugh when entering one. Strangely, LD's laugh plays at the beginning of the reset cutscene. The song that plays during the reset cutscene is actually found in LD's FNF Brambo song. This is an odd detail, but I feel like it's important. The badge that utilizes mirror worlds is literally the LD badge, but that's beside the point. My theory is that it's LD that caused everything to become Walted. This is backed up by LD's theme. This clearly states that LD is to blame, but we are too. Who exactly LD is addressing here is unclear, but it could be Garn 47. But that doesn't make much sense. Why would he help Walt all of his friends? Maybe LD is referring to Garn 47 defeating all the bosses previously. And yes, LD will be the final boss of the game. His theme is at the very end of the playlist, even after the credits. Another possible candidate is Car Zero, but it doesn't seem likely, as the only connection between the two is in the LD ending. They both sit on a picnic blanket, and they both seem like friends. The third candidate is whoever that Carite is that was depicted near the end of LD's theme. It might actually be a combination of both Car and Car, due to the fact that it has both of their white diamonds attached to both of its ears. This last one makes the least amount of sense, because Car and Car are both separate beings. Along with that, Car already has his Walted theme, and Car will probably get one down the road. This last bit of text is the most interesting part of this song. It's easy to assume that this is in fact LD speaking, so this can be him defending why he walted everyone. Or this could actually be true, to him. There are a few art pieces of what a walted character would look like. The most memorable one is the one of Carr, but there is actually one of Chipley in an older song titled Darble Adventure Walted. It seemed that walting was a concept all the way back in Brimble's world, as there's also a few pieces that depict Pale as being walted. The individuals who were depicted as walted did not seem happy, aside from Pale, but they did look like LD. That may be why he thinks they look so happy. The Phase 1 theme for Walted Broadcasted has a few lyrics, but they're the same as the FNF Brimbo Broadcasted song. Here's a comparison of the two. This could actually tie the Garn 47 broadcasted back to Brimble's world. Or maybe this is LD making it say these words? Why is the composer of this piece a few question marks, and what is that bear, that bird? The closest thing to this would be Banjo-Kazooie, because the song does kind of sound like a song from the game, but Floombo outright just said no. It also might refer to Brimbear, who I didn't know existed until doing research for this, but he does. But that leaves the bird a mystery still. The Phase 2 theme for Walted Broadcasted is what's really interesting. The lyrics are very different. These lyrics are strangely in a female voice, with what I presume is the broadcasted making sounds in the back. The lyrics might be pertaining to how Brimble's world is not complete and probably won't be done for a long time. Perhaps not enough people cared enough about Brimble's world, but enough people did care about Garn 47. There's nothing for the broadcasted to be sent back to. We saw it here in Garn 47 first, but not in Brimble's world. But this misplaces this Walted theme from the rest. But who is that female voice? Well, Gapiel and a few others think that the female voice is actually Carr. This could make sense because the two do have a close connection with all the Carrites and whatnot. Yeah, go watch Gapiel's video on that. He explains this in a lot more detail. But I personally don't think that it's Carr speaking, but rather LD. It's not unfair to assume that this is to be true, as the song is actually composed by the broadcasted and remixed by LD himself. Then again, It is likely for this to be the broadcast itself singing these words. If it doesn't connect with Brimble's world, it definitely connects itself back to Car and Car. Might be saying that the two didn't see it as it saw himself, and how they didn't care about it once they saw it was a failure. Even after that, it was abandoned and they didn't even care about it. Not until Car realized his mistake and gave it its own diamond. Unfortunately, it stated it is difficult to understand it on its poster, but LD could be helping it say these words or translating them for us. There are just so many different things that can be speculated from the song. There is a good chance that everything I just said is false, but that's why we speculate.
That's your cue. Always try it when you go into a new room.
Good Memories was actually the first boss to get a Walted theme. There are a few lyrics to the song. The first portion are the following. This repeats 3 times. The second time is in a lower pitch, but the last 2 lines are slightly different. The third time is of the original pitch, but again, the last 2 lines are different. With all the talk about eyes, it might be referring to the hollow eye where Good Memories is initially found in. Or it could be referring to what happens when someone is walted, with their eyes becoming white diamonds, the same as LD's. But apparently, the lyrics have been already confirmed to be something else by Floombo according to Gabrielle. The lyrics of the song are alluding to Car and Car's eternal struggle with each other, their fight. But let's be honest, the whole game is about their conflict if you think about it, so it's possible that what Floombo said here isn't the whole truth.
Whoa, I don't remember you, do I?
The Walted Waker's lyrics I feel are a bit more straightforward, or at least the first bit is. Alright, quick lore drop. The Waker is known to be made up of something called florium, as shown on a poster in the superstructure, but what florium can do makes it a probable counterpart to walting. I won't go too far into detail about what florium is because there's already video out about it, but in short, florium inflicts a sort of madness while walting seems to be a sort of depression. The point being, the first part of the lyrics might mean that everyone who blames the Waker for doing, I don't know, stuff, shouldn't be deflecting blame at it, rather at the florium that was controlling it. It was dangerous enough that Car had to contain it, even without Car knowing about its existence. I know I've said it before, but I'll say it again. This here is interesting. This again brings up the question of who exactly is being addressed here, but there seems to be a third party. Who is they? Well, they could be Car and Car for one, but Car had no part in the creation of the Waker. The only time Car mentions anything about the Waker is at the beginning of the fight.
Whoa, I don't remember you, do I?
He mentions that he has no recollection of who the Waker is, that he's never seen it before. Walted Prippy is the only Walted theme not to come out in V3. Rather, it's supposed to come out in V2.5. Other than that, I've got nothing on this. It doesn't even have any lyrics. Maybe I'm missing something that was said on Discord, but yeah, nothing. Why Would You is the Walted theme for Keep Me Safe. Keeps hasn't really been added to the game as of yet. I mean, I could wait until 2.5, and I'm sure I can figure something out. But I'm not going to do that. So anyways, the song does have lyrics. Keeps is a naturally cheerful character, so it's pretty in line for the words in the song to be super dark. Maybe the lyrics are suggesting that Keeps has failed at being so bright and now they can't see because the world has become too dark for them. Or maybe they literally can't see due to the fact that the white diamond eyes flashbang whoever's Walted.
Throwing flashbang!
It might also mean that Walted Keeps is asking us, why would you keep me? In the sense that it never did anything right and they're all of a sudden so negative. Additionally, this song is composed by someone named Cool News Cat, featuring Keeps. Cool News Cat is actually another name for Car Zero. This might imply that Car Zero did actually help LD if there is a Walted theme composed by her. Maybe in return LD helps her find Garn? I still don't quite understand the relationship between the two. Walted Car is my personal favorite Walted theme. There aren't any lyrics in the song, but there is an altered version of Car's little song near the end with some symbols at the top that reads sorry, and written in what's supposed to be LD script. Is sorry meant for us, the player, or for Car himself? This isn't the only piece of media where you can see a Walted Car. On Car's Twitter account, there's a post called Thank You. It's a very heartfelt thank you to the community that has kept Floombo going, but the message in this video isn't what we're looking at, but rather Walted Car. We can see him getting better here. We can see what's presumably a ball of white glort shooting into his depleted diamond earring. It then cuts to the glort firing directly into Walted Car himself. The diamond eyes shatter and fall off. We then see him spring back to life. We then both see Drilly and Garn 47 come in to comfort him, then he gets better. One thing to note about this video, it plays the Where Car instead of Walted Car. I need to take a step back and talk about Pale a little bit more. Pale's story is truly something. The reason being is that Pale is the only character shown to be becoming Walted. Shown in the small storyboard made by Floombo, I probably learned more from this set of images than any other source. Prior to the events of the storyboard, Pale had tricked Flippo and one of his friends to go inside Florium. Only Flippo managed to get out, so he set out to hunt down Pale for revenge. When Flippo finally catches up to Pale, a small black dot appears over Pale's head. Then Pale makes a silly face at Flippo. Flippo is rightfully confused about why Pale is making that face. He then stops and thinks about everything he just went through and how this little snake caused so much damage. He suddenly realizes that Pale has a knife. When we see Pale again, he has suddenly become Walted. Then we see Pale throw the knife out of the panel. But it turns out he was aiming the knife back at himself, but right before he drives it into himself, Flippo manages to catch the knife. In the next panel, we see Flippo desperately trying to pull the knife away from Walted Pale. Instead of the drilled version of Flippo, it's a soul version of him. This is probably how he ended up the way he is in Garn 47. But whatever happened to Pale is unknown. Maybe they'll show up in Garn 47, maybe not. What I took away from this short storyboard about walting was that it seems to cause more harm to the afflicted than the people around them. So maybe instead of fighting the bosses, we'll actually be trying to help them. That's what will make these fights harder than their normal counterparts. We'll need to prevent them from harming themselves, helping them recover from whatever that's troubling them, helping them cheer up. Pale was about to be killed. He was terrified. So it's safe to assume that is why he became Walted in the first place. Flippo even tries to save Pale, even after everything he had done to him. It's probably a fate worse than death, one that even Flippo fears, one that Flippo refuses to let even Pale endure. It was also shown in the Twitter post. Drilly and Garn 47 are making Carr feel better by comforting him after he went through some hard times. After he died. All the love his friends showed brought him back. Maybe that's what we'll be doing for all these bosses. All the bosses have lyrics that are extremely negative to reflect their emotions when walted. There's no anger, only sadness and abandonment. The broadcasted isn't angry. It's only sad that they couldn't give it more attention. The Waker was always perceived as a bad person and was forgotten by its family. Keeps was always trying its hardest to be cheerful, but not everyone was trying back. Carr was always trying to reconnect with his sister, but she never looked back at him. To us, being walted is the equivalent of dying. But for LD, they were alive. It was his fault that he walted everyone to begin with, but it's our fault that we brought everyone back. LD was right. They do look so happy. They may be gone for him, but they're still here with us. Just based on LD's theme alone, there'll be many more Walted themes coming out in the future. There were parts of Top Gentle and Red Gentle already in there. Not to mention, the three means still have to get their themes. You can even hear a few of the weird beeps littered throughout the song. There is still so much I could have talked about. I could have talked about Carr's and the Ware's involvement in the walting process, or the mysterious Carrite at the end of LD's theme, or the actual in-game location of the boss fights. There's still a lot to be revealed in the future, so I'm looking forward to the next update as always. And before I forget, if you've listened to me talk for this long, thank you.